There's a project due in 2 weeks and then 2 weeks after that.
Oh.
Week 8, week 10.
So there's there's a project and an exam due the final week, is that right?
The exam is due week 11, the exam week. The project's due the week before it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So next week, just
We're
quizzes.
in week 6, right?
We're,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mentally or physically?
Yes. Mentally I'm in week negative 20. So project week 8, I kind of keep them spaced about 2 weeks apart.
Okay.
So project week 8, project week 10. The last exam, which I will post by week 7 or 8. I'll have that posted by the end of next week, beginning of the following week. But that's not due till week 11, when you come into that last little powwow we'll have before I kick you out of here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now I did put 3 quizzes up for next week. I did it for a couple of reasons. First of all, some people have been sending me emails nervous because they don't think they have enough quizzes in yet. So I was like, what the hell, I'll just start offering more. I mean, you're going to have a couple more. I mean, honestly, that's the best way to get around that, right? So I do have a few more in-class ones I want to do. I have one that I thought we were going to get to today, but we're not going to get to it today. That's okay, let that go. And I've got a couple more in-class ones, but I figure I can just keep adding more quizzes each week, and you can pick and choose the ones you want to do until you have your 10. And you can, of course, you can do more than that as well. So the ones for next week are on relative position. I know you just did one of those, but it's another one of those. One on outliers, which I was planning on doing in class with you, but I think it makes more time not to. It gives you more time to work on if we don't do it in class. And then another one is a throwback on averages, in particular about the snowfall that happened last Saturday, and how it makes the overall average of snowfall on February 8th change. If it's meaningful or not. It's a meaningful change based on, I used 25 inches of snow that we got at my house. I know some people got more or less than that depending on where you live. But I just used my house because the snowfall data you've been collecting, or that you were analyzing last week, the quiz some of you just got back now, is based on my backyard, the most recent 10 readings, because the guy that was collecting it, I don't know what happened to him, just disappeared. So I took this data with my data and made one big data set. So I hope he's okay.
He's in a snowbank.
He's in a snowbank somewhere. He's come out of snow cave. So anyway, you got 3 quizzes. Do any combination. There's 8 possible ways to deal with those 3 quizzes. This is fun, right? There's 8 possible ways to deal with those 3 quizzes. You can do all of them. You can do one of them, which can be done in 3 ways, can it? Yeah. You can either do the average one, but don't do the other 2. Do the relative position on the other 2, or do the whatever the third one is. What else could you do?
All of them.
You can do all of them.
None of them.
That was one of them.
Oh,
Oh wait, maybe, no, all or none.
Okay.
One of them or 2 of them, right? There's 3 ways to do 2 of them. There's 3 ways to do 2 and ignore 1. Else isn't there? Yeah. Danielle's like, I hate this class. I so wish I had stayed in bed today. There's not enough coffee in the world to deal with this guy. So you have 8 possibilities. Your choice. Each of you will. I should keep track of who doesn't. That'd be fun. If it's the binomial. I wonder if it's a binomial. Check that. But anyway, 3 quizzes. It should be a bell curve. If you follow the coin flip. So basically, if you decide to do the quizzes by a coin flip. So you look at the first one and go, should I do it? Yes. Should I do it? No. Should I do it? And you use a coin to decide, you guys would make a bell curve, theoretically speaking. But chances are you don't do that when you do it. You probably look at it and say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this because it looks easier. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do, what I keep trying to do though, I keep trying to give you guys options, and I want to try to keep revisiting. Somebody, Saturday just asked me a great question. She said, another variation quiz? Because there was a variation quiz today, yeah? But why not? I mean, it's a topic that is not intuitive. So why not have more than 1 quiz on a topic? I mean, if you don't want to do it, leave it alone. But at the same time, I think the more you do, the more you're going to understand. What I'm essentially trying to do with the quizzes is I'm making them be your homework, right? Because I don't collect homework, I'm collecting your homework, if that makes sense. So it's a way to keep practicing. And that's the only way you're going to understand something is by immersing yourself in it. So you might see another variation quiz. Those that hate variation hate that idea, but ignore it and do something else. Totally fine too. I've got a whole buttload of distribution quizzes that are coming. I'm so stoked about those. But that's what the topic today is, to kind of link everything we've been doing together. So yeah, next project, not until week 8. You'll probably have more fun with that one than this one. I doubt very much you thought this one was very much fun. Although the topics in this one are wicked important. Like the principle of redundancy is so important. I mean, why do we have 2 kidneys? If you think about it. It's a kind of an evolutionary trick, because 1 isn't enough. Because if it fails,
One
you
might
die.
fail, yeah.
If it fails, you die, and you've got to back up. I mean, it's the same. So redundancy is one of those important things. Somebody brought up a neat point about the project. Carolyn, what's your question though? You had a question. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was going to ask about the quizzes. Like once we reach our 10, we're satisfied with
You
our
can be
grades.
done.
But can we turn them in to still be
Yes.
graded without it like counting for
No.
against us? Okay. Can we come
When-
and check with you
Yes.
and see if we're right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, once you've turned in your 10, you've met your minimum requirement for points. You can keep turning them in, but the thing about turning them in is if you keep turning them in and doing well on them, you're only going to bump your average
Yeah.
up. I mean, that's historically what has happened. The more quizzes people turn in, the better their average gets, because conscientious students are turning lots of quizzes in, thereby bumping their average up. So you can't prove that the quizzes are causing the high average. It could be that the high average is causing the quizzes. Nonetheless, you still, when you hand it in, you agree to let me count it
Okay.
as part of your grade. But of course, if you don't want to do that, just come by the office and we'll just chit-chat about it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
If you do, hold up. If you do your first 10,
Yes.
and then you do 11,
Yes.
and that one's better than 10, like a 10 to 5.
Then you correct with the rainy day quiz coupon, you correct the 5.
Okay. So
Remember
I
that.
can't
Don't forget that's there.
replace them?
No.
Say that again.
I can't replace them.
You better than replace it, you can make the 5 a 10. That's better than taking it out.
Yeah.
If you take a 5 out, you only have 10 data points now. That might all be 10s themselves, yes?
Okay, yeah.
But if you make the 5 a 10 and you have additional 10 10s, you now have 110 points versus 10. You have 10% more points.
Okay.
That's better for your average.
Yeah.
That's why don't forget the rainy day quiz coupon is there.
No.
I'll keep reminding you. I know it's going to happen, I think. I'm going to get inundated with 160 of those submissions in week 10, which is what I'm expecting. And I've already warned Amber. I'm like, you might go overtime that week. But that's the point. I want you to not throw that quiz. I want you to fix it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Other questions? Assessment questions. These are good. I know it's a weird assessment system. I apologize for making you suffer through it, but it's unfortunately works. Yeah, I guess that's not unfortunate. Please, Michelle, go.
What if you missed the turn-in day for a quiz, but you want to do it and see how you did? Can you turn it in?
Just come by the office. We'll chit chat about it.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing about it is because there's so much coming and going in this class, if you turn it in, Amber won't grade it because it's
Okay.
past the due date. But just come talk to me about it. I'd love to do that. I think it's a great. And you can always look at the videos I've been posting.
Yeah.
Every week I post solution videos for the quizzes. You can always go back and look at the video, and it's how I would solve it, not necessarily how you would.
Okay.
But by all means, you can go back and look at those too.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I will always look with you guys and look back at whatever you want to look back at. I'm totally fine with that. Other questions? Keep them coming. As I fire up what we need for today, we need that. We need that. Yes, we need that.
Other questions?
And maybe that. Yeah, we can do that.
So
That looks like a
exam
cool-
2, there's 2 parts to it, huh? The in class and then the out of class.
That's the last one.
And then
Just two? There'd be, I don't want to stay up till 1:30.
It's like a circle, yeah?
from here.
But no whole circle. Circle, okay.
4
Be
hours.
some kind of weird distortion on the screen. All right, we're good. Fantastic. Other questions before we get into this? How are you feeling? Week 6. How's the turn going? Yes, actually.
Parking's still a bummer.
What's the matter?
Parking's still a bummer.
Parking's still a bummer? Well, they're melting. The spaces are melting out. That's kind of getting more spaces every day. That's kind of nice. It's been crazy. Be careful in the mornings. I had an easy commute this morning, but a half a dozen people asked me before 5 a.m., how was your commute? Did you crash today? I'm like, no, why would I have crashed? And then I realized I come from the northeast side of town, which is lower than most of Bend, so it's warmer in general than most of Bend. But I noticed when I left Mazama, so I did my spin routine at Mazama, and then I rode up the handicap ramp there, and I almost went down right there. The banks are melting out when it's warm, and then flash freezing when it drops to 32. So be real careful, especially like roundabouts. I would imagine it's probably happening there.
Yeah.
It's probably happening basically everywhere. Like you
Every
can't
turn.
see it. It's just as bad as that ice was a couple weeks ago, except it's not as ubiquitous as it was. A couple weeks ago, everything was flash frozen. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna crash, so I'm just gonna deal with it. But now it's like the road's fine, but if you drift 6 inches too far to the right, you hit like a patch of black ice, which you can't see until you're on it and then crashing towards it. So just be careful. I mean, it's warming up right now, which is great, and it's not the rest of the day I'm worried about. It's tomorrow morning as you guys commute around. So if you don't have to go anywhere until it gets above freezing, I'd say don't go anywhere until it gets above freezing.
Well, this morning going into Redmond is above freezing, but the ground is cold.
Oh,
So
which
it's still
creates
frozen.
little pockets. Yes, that does. That makes it interesting.
Yeah.
you could be at 40 degrees, but the ground might not be, or might not be enough away from you. That's that weird chemistry stuff too that's going on. That whole graph that I never understood in high school. I remember this graph. My teacher tried for like 3 weeks. Sean, it's pretty simple. I'm like, I don't think it's simple. It was the graph that explained why you have to get the water out of your pipes. It was that graph. Like why you have to, because water is wonderful except when you put it in a pipe in the winter and it freezes and it blows everything up. Like, I don't get the point. And you give up eventually. That's why I study statistics, I guess. So, cool.
Make
Concerns?
it through chemistry?
I got through it. Thank God, Jim Davion. Jim, if you're watching, thanks, brother. Yeah, it was a chore. It was a chore. It's very interesting. I like blowing things up, but as far as understanding why they blew up, I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I know if I mix this and that, it's gonna blow up. Yay. And it seems